Minister, I raised this matter 2 weeks ago at questions and promised legislation, to which I got no reply from the Taoiseach, and that is why I am raising it here with you today. I want to again thank Minister McGrath for visiting this excellent facility in Beaufort in County Kerry. I requested him at that time to do so, and I was very glad that he did, and he also called to other facilities in County Kerry. Students with profound special needs requiring round-the-clock medical attention are being forced to miss days at St Francis's Special School in Beaufort, County Kerry, as the HSE only provides general nursing hours there 3 days a week. At least 2 students living in constant danger of medical emergencies cannot attend St Francis's on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the absence of general nursing care. Funded entirely by the Department of Education with the St John of God's as its trustees, St Francis's is dependent on the HSE to provide the vital medical assistance its students need. While many students benefit from individual nurses, the general nursing service is crucial to the delivery of education at St Francis's. But at present, it is provided only on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and staffed by 2 part-time nurses. Parents are also seriously concerned about the loss of physiotherapy, speech and language therapy and occupational therapy hours that occurred under the HSE's reconfiguration plan. They signed up to in 2013 on the understanding that they were then giving that it would have been fairer for all children in the Mid-Kerry area, both students of St Francis's and those in mainstream schools with less profound needs. Minister, it is crucial that the absence of general nurses at St Francis's Special School on Tuesdays and Thursdays is rectified, and that nurses are provided on these days. Children should not have to remain at home on the days. It is simply wrong. The staff at the school, I want to compliment them from the bottom of my heart. They are doing excellent work, but these are not trained medical experts, and they can only do so much. So please, Minister, I am asking that you ensure that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, general nurses are provided for St Francis's Special School in Beaufort. This is of vital and paramount importance, and I want to also highlight the fact that St Francis's the structure in Beaufort itself is coming under attack because of the policy adopted in 2011 with regard to congregated settings. I've raised this in the House here before, that this policy should be changed, because to allow the likes of St Mary's of the Angels, which is on the site, the campus of St Francis's Special School, by the fact that they are not allowing new young people to go into that excellent facility, it means that over a period of time the facility will close. That will also affect St Francis's Special School, and I have asked that on numerous times that one shoe does not fit all sizes, and the government should change this policy so that it would allow the likes of St Mary of the Angels in County Kerry to take on admissions again. Because when you close a centre like this by stealth, you're closing a centre of excellence. And that is what Beaufort is, that is what St Francis's Special School is. They're centres of excellence. The personnel, the management, the teachers, the nurses, the staff working in the kitchens, the people taking care of the personal needs of the patients there. It's a real centre of excellence, and I'd like for that to be acknowledged, and I'd like for the government to revisit congregated settings and also to deal with this issue that I've raised with you here today, and that is the fact of providing the necessary nursing care on the days that they are absent. And thank you, Minister.
Minister Daly, 4 minutes.
I'd like to thank the Deputy for raising this issue. I am aware that St Francis Special School is situated on the grounds of St Mary of the Angels, and I understand that there are 55 children enrolled in the school with needs varying from moderate to severe. A new extension opened in September 2015 facilitated some of the then existing classrooms to be converted into specialised physiotherapy, speech and language and occupational therapy facilities, including a dedicated art room. This is very much a positive, as it means that a multidisciplinary team on site has played a huge part in enabling each pupil to achieve his or her true potential. With regard to the particular issue raised by the Deputy, I am aware that in 2013, HSE Kerry reconfigured Children's Disability Services in Kerry to Children's Disability Network teams with access based on need in line with national policy. I am advised by the HSE that the specific need within the school was recognised and foot of an assessment of need which took place some 18 months ago. The assessment was undertaken by the Public Health Nursing Service, on which the existing resource provision of 3 days nursing has been based. The current nursing arrangement has been facilitated from primary care services. A more recent assessment by the Public Health Nursing Service has indicated an increased complexity of care needs for the children attending the school. The initial recommendation was to increase the service from 3 days to 5 days per week. The HSE has informed me that a review of this assessment is currently underway to examine the additional level of resources that may be required to address these complex needs and to set out what the overall requirement will be. It will also look at how the existing allocation of nursing support may be optimised to meet the changing needs of the children. I fully recognise the concerns of parents whose children are unable to attend the school on a full-time basis. I sincerely hope that the HSE can progress this assessment as speedily as possible and to find a resolution that will have a positive outcome for these children. It is this Government's ongoing commitment to provide services and supports for people with disabilities which will empower them to live independent lives, provide greater independence in accessing the services they choose and enhance their ability to tailor the supports required to meet their needs and plan their lives. I can advise the Deputy that €8 million in additional funding was invested in 2014 and 2015 to fund 200 additional posts to support the implementation of the national programme on progressing disability services for children and young people under 18 years of age. A further €4 million in additional funding was provided for 75 therapy posts in 2016.
St John of God's have recently written to families who have family in St Mary of the Angels requesting additional money to be paid every month. One family in particular who paid €400 per month with the last 20 years are now being asked to pay €195 on top of the 400, which will leave this family struggling. And what are St John of God's going to do if this family cannot pay? They can't tell their children to leave the facility. What I'd say to you, Minister, is I would really love to sincerely catch a hold of the person, and it was somebody in the HSE who a number of years ago dreamt up this whole thing of using the word reconfiguration rather than using the simple, ordinary, down-to-earth word of cut. Because any time the HSE have ever spoken about reconfiguring anything, what they say is, we're going to cut the service, we're going to cut the funding. But they don't use that ordinary common word. What they use is, they use this highfalutin, well, we're going to reconfigure the services. The person who said that, they'd want to be given a good shaking for about 10 minutes and bring them down to earth and let them know that a cut is the same as reconfiguration, and reconfiguration is the same as a cut. It certainly is not enhancing a service. It is doing nothing to better a service, but what it is a cut. And a cut is a cut. It is not a reconfiguration. So it's not your fault, Minister. I'm not directing this at you. I'm directing it at the hiding people in the HSE who dreamt this up with their spin doctors a number of years ago. And they were left get away with it by politicians inside here at that time, that who should tell them there is no such thing as reconfiguration. It's a cut. And those words are used by you here now because, quite simply, why? Because the HSE told you to use them. But you should be telling them, you and your colleagues, you should tell them that you never want again see a memo coming from the HSE with the word reconfiguration on it, because it's rubbish. And tell them, stick it and change it to the word cut. And at least then we could see exactly what they're saying. So look, I appreciate your response. I've raised the issue here with you. The one commitment that I'll give is that I'll continue to raise it inside in this House to the best of my ability, because it's right to do so on behalf of, number one, the children and their parents and their grandparents.
Minister, respond.
And again, Deputy, thank you very much. Deputy, I would have to differ somewhat with you on the word reconfiguration. I don't think it always means a cut. I think one of the better examples maybe of reconfiguration was the cancer services in this country. And I think everybody would have to accept that the reconfiguration of those services and the delivery of those services nationally was one of the more outstanding successes of both the politics and the HSE working together. And while they were very difficult at the time, and there was a lot of people who had to take a lot of difficult, I think now in the fullness of time, which is the best place to be to judge any of these, I think that's a reconfiguration story that we can all be proud of. And thankfully, that's something that matters on a personal level to many, many of us in relation to cancer services. So I would have to take issue with that. Notwithstanding your entitlement to your opinion, Deputy, I wouldn't agree that reconfiguration is always a bad word in that context. Just specifically on the issue, I think, look, I've given you the best answer I can, and the HSE have, that, look, they have acknowledged that there is a need for additional nursing here, and they are looking over to see exactly how much resources that will demand and what will involve. And as soon as that, and I will ensure that the HSE try and speed up that assessment of the need and of the increased need that this will result in, and we'll try and get that up and running for the children in that school, because that's the least they deserve. Thank you, Deputy, and thank you, Les Concordia.